In the next few lessons, we return to the subject of bidding and we start to look at competitive auctions. That's an auction where both sides are bidding. So to start with, we're going to focus on simple overcalls, what they mean, when to bid them, and how to respond to them. But first of all, let's have a bit of context to help you understand what a competitive auction is. In the auctions that we've seen so far, one pair has been allowed to bid uninterrupted. One player, opener, opens the bidding and their partner, responder, replies. The language of bidding allows opener and responder to describe the shape and the strength of their hands and find the best contract to play in. Until now, the other players at the table have been silent in the auction, simply passing whenever it's their turn. This is referred to as an uncontested auction. But guess what? Bridge isn't like that. Just because South has opened the bidding, it doesn't mean that West and East must stay silent. In fact, West and East may even hold the best cards at the table and be able to make a contract of their own. Or they may simply want to get in the way of North-South and make it harder for them to find their best contract. Or perhaps East or West may simply want to tell partner that they have a particularly good suit, so that if East or West become defenders, then their partner knows what to lead. One way to think of this is that the opener and responder would like a nice, sophisticated, adult conversation, a detailed exchange of bids which try to describe their hands precisely. And then we might think of the opposing pair as two loud children shouting across the table, trying to get each other's attention. Their bidding is less sophisticated and precise. It's almost as if they are speaking a different language from their opponents. One of the most useful tools in the competitive auction is for one of the opposing players to make a simple suit overcall. An overcall is a bid by an opposing player made after the other side have opened the bidding. In its simplest form, it just says, partner, I've got a great suit and here it is. Here's an example of how a competitive auction might start. South opens the bidding. Here they've opened one heart, and as we've learned already, one heart simply says, partner, I've got at least 12 points, that's why I'm opening the bidding, and I've got at least 4 cards in the heart suit. And now West makes a suit overcall, one spade, and that says, partner, I've got a great spade suit. Responder must still respond as normally to openers bidding, and they will bid as normally as they can wherever they can. So here they tell partner the good news. Partner, 2 hearts. That means I've got at least 4 cards in the heart suit and a few points, 6 to 9. But that doesn't mean that's the end of the bidding. East can come up now and show 3 spades. And that would say, partner, I've actually got quite a good hand and support for your spade suit. Now it's South turns to bid again, and you can see that the auction is now a lot more interesting than before. Maybe North and South will bid 4 hearts, a game contract. Or maybe they will let East and West play in 3 spades, or maybe East and West should bid onto their own game contract. You can see how West's entry to the auction by making a simple suit overcall has spiced things up for everybody. So what does the overcall actually mean? What is a suit overcall? Well, it's simply a bid of a suit made after any bid by the side that opened the bidding. It's used to describe a good holding in a suit. That means you've got both length and strength in that suit. So good cards in that suit and at least 5 of them. That's essential. You must have at least 5. Don't ever overcall with 4 cards. Suit overcalls are based on possible tricks that could be won. They're really about saying we might win a few tricks if we played in this suit. They're not based on describing point count or overall strength of the hand. And our partner does not have to respond to them at all. They can simply pass if they can't find a response. Why would we do this? Why would we overcall? Well, firstly, it might be constructive. Our side might actually have the ability to make a contract of our own, even make a game contract of our own or better. So we need to tell partner about the suit that we think this might happen in. Equally, we often use it for tactical reasons. We want to be destructive. We want to get in the way of the opponents and disrupt them and make life hard for them to find their own game contract or their own contract to play in. And sometimes it's just to be really informative to partner, and it might tell them about the best suits that we've got so that we can tell our partner how they might defend the contract should we become defenders against the opponent's contract. It's overcalls are ones where the auction allows you to bid your suit at the one level. So let's look at some hands that would be suitable for making an overcall at the one level. Here, assume that your right hand opponent has opened the bidding one heart. And here are some different hands that you hold. With hand number one, we've got a really nice long spade suit. We've got 5 good cards in spades and 3 honours. King, Queen and 10 are 3 honours. This is a lovely suit. We want to tell partner the good news, so simply bid 1 spade. All we're doing there is overcalling 1 spade to tell partner we've got a good spade suit. Maybe partner will become on opening lead later on in a no trump contract, and if they are, then we'd want them to lead spades. With hand 2, we've actually got a really good hand. So it's vital that we enter the auction with an overcall here. So here we would definitely bid 1 spade if our right hand opponent had opened the bidding 1 heart. Partner won't know how strong we are at this point. They might think we have a hand similar to hand 1, but that's okay. If partner can actually support our spades in any way, there may well be a game contract for us here. And lastly, hand 3. Again, I've got quite a few points and I've got a 5-card spade suit. So again, if my right hand opponent opens 1 spade, I might be tempted to enter the auction here, but here it would be wrong. This suit isn't good enough to overcall. I wouldn't want partner to be leading this suit towards me during the play, for example. It's just not a good enough suit. So whilst I've got a few points and a 5-card suit, it's not worth bidding it. I'm better off passing. Let's look at some guidelines for making an overcall at the 1 level. Firstly, point range. It's probably appropriate to have at least 8 high card points or more before you're making an overcall. So don't make an overcall with a weaker hand than about 8 points. Don't worry too much about that upper limit. You're not often going to have 16 high card points when the opponents have opened the bidding, but we will show you what to do if you have more than that. But just think of it as you might want to overcall if you've got at least 8 points for now. But more important than points is the length and strength of that suit. So an overcall at the 1 level would show a good 5-card or longer suit. So you could have 6 or could have even more, but it certainly shows a good holding. Here are good examples of good 5-card suit holding. So whatever this suit would be, it may be appropriate to overcall it at the 1 level, providing you've got probably about 8 points total in your hand. So any of those sort of holdings would qualify as a good enough suit to bid an overcall at the 1 level. Many players will do this with slightly weaker holdings, but that's a bad habit to get into. So for now, while we're still learning, it's best to have some discipline around overcalls and try and make them with really good holdings only. If a partner makes a suit overcall, how do you respond? Well, there's a range of possible ways of responding. But the single most important thing to remember here, and this is probably the central point around this, is that your partner's overcall promises at least a 5-card holding in the suit that they've bid. And what that means is often you will be able to make a supporting bid to raise partner's suit, holding just 3 cards in that suit. If you remember during auctions, we're often looking to find a magic 8-card fit. That gives us a trump suit that might play really well and give us control of the hand. So here, holding just 3 cards in support of partner's known 5 cards, we will know that we've got an 8-card fit. So it's often appropriate to raise partner with just 3 cards in their suit. Sometimes you might even want to bid no trumps. Here you would need to have a stopper in any suit that the opener has already opened with. and you would need to have at least 9 points, so showing slightly stronger hand. On rare occasions, you're not that interested maybe in partner's overcalled suit, but you've got a really good suit of your own. In this case, you'd need to have a suit that you're guaranteed is actually better than the one partner's got, because it's quite likely they might not even have much support for you. So there are occasions where you would bid your own good suit, but that's relatively rare. And quite often you'll find that you're just simply passing. You don't actually have anything to bid here. So in terms of priorities, if you're making a response to partner's overcall, show 3-card support by raising partner's major suit. So if partner has overcalled in a major suit, they've got 5 of them. If you've got 3-card support, then your priority might be to try and show support for that. Alternatively, if you can, and you've got the opener's suit stopped with some good honours, and at least 9 high card points, you will be able to bid no trumps. And that would be a very constructive bid to make. In rare occasions, you would overcall your own major suit, particularly overshow a major suit if it's a really good 6 cards, and that might be a better alternative than playing in partner's own suit. So there are occasions where you would make an overcall showing your own suit. And lastly, if partner's overcall was in a minor suit, then clearly you might still want to raise a minor suit with only three cards in it. But it's always better to try and bid no trumps or overcall your own major if you've really got one first, because we prefer to play in majors and we often prefer to play no trumps. There are a few situations where East might want to make some supporting bid to raise partner's overcall if they have support for the suit that's been overcalled. So let's look at the situation here. South has opened the bidding with the 1 club. South is opener, and our partner West makes an overcall of 1 heart. That simply shows at least 8 points and a good holding in hearts. 5 of them, and probably at least 3 honours or 3 very good cards in hearts at least. North, helpfully, makes a pass. They can't make they're responder, but they can't make a responding bid. They're probably too weak. So how does East reply to West's overcall? If East has at least 3 hearts, then that's really good news, because between West and East there will be an 8-card fit in hearts. So East wants to tell partner that. What are the guidelines that East should use for deciding how high to bid? Well, here's some approximate guidelines. Firstly, if you're quite weak, around 0 to 5 points, probably pass. But if you've got around 6 to 9 points and at least 3-card support for partner's hearts, it's probably worth telling them the good news. So at least 3 cards in hearts and 6 to 9 points, I would raise to the 2 level here. If you've got a better hand, maybe 10 to 12 points, or slightly less but with more hearts to support with, you might well consider raising to the 3 level. And sometimes with an even stronger hand and a lot more high card points, at least 13, and particularly if you've got 4 or 5 hearts, you may well want to raise to a game contract 4 hearts, but that's going to be quite rare. So let's look at a couple of examples. With hand A, we've got 3-card support in hearts for partners overcalled. So we'd like to tell them the good news. We've also got 8 high card points. So our hand fits nicely into the category to raise to the 2 level. So the appropriate bid with hand A would be for East to raise the overcall to 2 hearts to show some support and a few points here. What about hand B? This is a slightly better hand for 2 reasons. Firstly, we've now got 10 high card points. But secondly, we've also got 4 trumps now. We've actually got 4-card support for hearts. So we really do want to make a positive, strong bid here to tell partner the good news. So 10 points, between 10 and 12 points fits nicely into this category here to raise to the 3 level. So many players would simply raise to the 3 level here, and that would be a good way of showing support for your partner and helping them to understand that we have a nice trump fit in hearts and some playing strength between us. So East would bid 3 hearts. On some occasions, if East cannot support a major suit overcall, they might prefer to bid no trumps in response to partner's 1 heart overcall. If East was to bid no trumps in this auction, this would indicate several things. Firstly, East must have fewer than 3 cards in hearts, since, as we've already seen, we should always respond by raising partner's major suit overcall if we have at least 3 card support. Secondly, we'd need to have at least 9 high card points because we need to be a slightly stronger hand. We need a slightly stronger hand if we're going to suggest a no trump contract after our partner has overcalled. They might be quite weak, remember. And thirdly, and really important, we must have the suit that opener has bid stopped with at least a couple of very strong cards in that suit. That's because the defence are likely to lead any suit that they've already bid if we end up declarer in a no trump contract. So we must have that suit guarded with strong cards. The approximate point guidelines for responding no trumps are as follows. With fewer than 8 high card points, you're not actually strong enough to bid no trump. So if you can't find another bid to support partner, it's best to pass. But once you've got at least 9 points, we are able to bid no trumps, provided, of course, that we've got that stopper. Here, because South has opened clubs, we would need at least 1 good stopper in clubs, probably 2 to be comfortable bidding no trumps. So here, if we had between 9 and 12 high card points and at least 1 or 2 good stoppers in clubs, we would be able to bid 1 no trump comfortably. With a stronger hand, 13 to 15, we could bid 2 no trumps. Again, we would definitely need stoppers in clubs though. So let's look at some examples. Hand A. Well, we've only got 2 hearts, so we haven't got enough hearts to support partner. At the moment, we only know they've got 5 cards in hearts, but we have got 11 high card points. And more importantly, we've also got some good cards in clubs, which is the suit that opener has bid. So we've got clubs pretty well stopped. So our hand is ideal to make a no trump bid. And here, holding just 11 points, we're right in the middle of that range for the hand that's suitable to bid 1 no trump. So the right response to partner's overcall on hand A would be for East to bid 1 no trump. With hand B, East is a little bit stronger. We've now got 11, 12, 14 high card points. And again, we haven't got good support for hearts yet. We've only got 2 cards in hearts, so that's not enough to raise hearts. But crucially, we can show the strength of our hand and the fact that we've got the suit that opener has bid really well stopped. So here, our club holding, King, Queen, 3-2, that's likely to be a very good holding to defend if clubs are led. So we should feel comfortable that we can bid no trumps. And here our extra strength puts us in the range of hands that could comfortably bid 2 no trumps. So here it would be right for hand B to bid 2 no trumps in response to partner's overcall. And now there's a very good chance that partner might well raise us to game if they've got anything spare for their bid. So East would bid 2 no trumps. Hand C. Well, this one we've got just 8 high card points. So it wouldn't be appropriate to bid no trumps here. And there's another reason, even if we had an extra point or 2, there's another reason we probably wouldn't want to bid no trumps here either. And that's because our clubs are probably not good enough to really suggest that we've got that suit stopped. So if we were to be a declarer in no trumps, then our club's probably not good enough to stop the suit if the opponents start attacking clubs, and clubs was their best, longest suit. So here, it's much better with hand C, just simply pass. The auction may continue. Either South as opener may bid again, or even partner might have extra strength or may be able to bid hearts again, which would, in this situation, would show even more length in hearts, and now a heart fit would be found. There are also situations where East, in responding to partner's overcall, might actually want to bid a suit of their own. Now, this isn't all that common, doesn't come up a lot, but if East were to consider bidding their own suit, making their own suit overcall, they'd need to think about the following things. Firstly, they would need a really good suit of their own, at least 6 cards and probably at least 2 honours. They'd want to have a bit of strength, 8 high card points of their own or more. Um, they wouldn't be able to support partner's major suit if partner's already overcalled a major suit. They would be denying the ability to support with 3 cards. So they'd be showing less than 3 card support for partner's major, because obviously if we had 3 card support for major, our priority is to raise partner's major and tell them the good news that we found a trump fit. And lastly, if East suit was a minor suit, rather than bid a minor suit of your own, you might actually be better off bidding no trumps if your hand qualified, as we saw on the last slide. It's always more constructive to bid no trumps if you can. So by bidding your own minor suit, you're probably denying the ability, either the strength or the possession of a stopper in the opponent's suit to be able to bid no trumps. Here's some examples. Firstly, hand A. Well, partner's overcalled 1 heart. We haven't got enough hearts to be able to support partner, but we do have a really good 6 card spade suit of our own. Partner might not have many spades. I mean, we know where their length is, it's in hearts, but it's not inconceivable that they've got 2 or 3 card support for spades and we actually have a spade fit. So tell them the good news. You've also got 6, 10, 11 points here. So quite a nice hand. You're certainly good enough to bid your suit. Don't get carried away, just simply bid 1 spade. So East bids 1 spade here, and that tells partner, I can't support the suit that you've overcalled, but I could suggest that we might have a good fit in spades if you can help me out. Hand B. Hand B is a bit stronger. East has got 11 points now. They've also got a really good club suit. Again, they don't have support for hearts. The priority would always be to support the suit that your partner has overcalled if it's a major. And here, partner's overcalled a heart, but only 2 card support for hearts isn't enough to be able to support it here. We don't have the diamond stopped, so we don't want to bid no trumps at the moment. But we can tell partner we've got a really good suit of our own here, and we are strong enough to be able to bid our own suit. We would have to bid it at the 2 level, and that's one of the reasons why we might need to be a bit stronger here. We'll come on to that in a minute. But here we've got 11 points. We've got a really good 6 card club suit, and so our hand is well worth bidding 2 clubs. And partner will now understand our hand a bit better. Maybe we can play in clubs. Let's look at hand C. We've got about 10 points here. Maybe we might be tempted to tell partner, we can't bid spades. With 4 card spade suit is not enough to bid. You'd need at least a 5 or 6 card suit to be able to bid spades here. So could we bid our clubs? Well, here, our clubs, I don't think are good enough. Many players will bid 2 clubs without hand, but I don't think it's a really good tactic. Let's try and be disciplined in our approach to making overcalls. In the long run, that will improve your bridge. So here, I think the right approach is to actually pass. Although you've got 10 high card points and you've got a nice club suit, you haven't got 6 cards. I don't think it's worth suggesting playing in clubs here. It might be better to pass. Maybe partner can bid their hearts again, which would then show 6 cards, or maybe north-south will bid to another level and you might be able to defend and beat their contract. But I think by bidding on and bidding your club suit, you might mislead your partner into thinking that you've got a stronger club holding than you have. So the best thing to do with the hand C is to pass. Sometimes when we make an overcall, we have to make it at the 2 level. So here, for example, opener, South, has opened the bidding 1 spade. So if West wanted to make an overcall with a suit, they would now be bidding at the 2 level. So for example, if they made a diamond overcall, it would have to be 2 diamonds, bidding at the 2 level. This is something to be careful about, and something that many players often get wrong. So be cautious here. The important thing to bear in mind is because we're bidding at the 2 level, we need to have a better hand or at least a better suit to be able to make that bid confidently. Many people get this wrong and end up making overcalls that are ill-judged and often aren't suitable. So it's really important that you have a slightly stronger hand. So we'll look at that on the next slide. Here's some guidelines for when to make an overcall at the 2 level. So here's an example. South is opener. They've opened one spade. West would like to overcall. But of course, any suit overcall they make will be at the 2 level. And as we've suggested, you need to have a slightly better hand for that. So West really ideally should have a good 6-card suit with at least 2 of the honours in that suit and at least 10 high card points. If they didn't have that strength or that suit quality, they probably shouldn't be making an overcall at the 2 level. If they only had a 5-card suit, it is possible to overcall at the 2 level. But again, I'd like to see an even better suit here. So maybe 3 of the top honours would be required here, and perhaps a bit more strength in high card points, maybe 12, 13 high card points as well. The reason that you have to have higher, better quality suits for a 2-level overcall is that you might well end up declaring the contract on your own here. Maybe partner's got absolutely nothing. They might not have very much support for your suit, and they might have almost no points at all. So you really want to make sure that if you are left to declare the contract, that you've got a hand that has got a few tricks in it. Otherwise, you're going to go very many tricks down, and you're going to give a very bad score. You're going to make a very poor score for your partnership, and your opponents will do very well on that hand. Many inexperienced players will make ill-judged 2-level overcalls with hands that are just not suitable. So I really do recommend that you take on board these guidelines, bring some rigor into these bids, and make sure that you only bid an overcall at the 2 level with a really good suit or a really good hand. Okay. Here's some examples. So West would like to bid. Here's hand A. Here they've got 11 high card points, and they've got a really good 6-card club suit. They've got 3 of the honours, King, Queen, 10, that's 3 honours. That 9 is also a great card to have. So even if I got stuck to play in a club suit opposite a really unsuitable dummy from partner, because partner might have nothing, I'm still going to make quite a lot of tricks with my good clubs, and my score is not going to be too bad. I may go down, but I may not go down too many. So I'd be quite happy bidding 2 clubs on that hand. So 2 clubs is a good overcall on that hand here. What about hand B? Again, we've got 11 high card points in total, and again we've got a good 6-card suit. Not only that, it's a major suit, it's hearts as well, so we really do want to be coming into the auction and showing our hearts here. So our hand is good enough here. We have 3 top honours and a 6-card suit, so ace, jack, 10 are 3 honours, 6 cards in hearts in total, and 11 points. I'm very happy bidding 2 hearts on that West hand, and hopefully partner can support me. Even if partner can't support me, I'm still happy playing a 2-heart contract opposite a really weak dummy if partner hasn't got anything at all. And C. Here we've got 13 high card points, so a little bit stronger in terms of overall high card points. Is it worth overcalling the diamond suit? Well, here the guideline is that I would need to have 3 honours and a 5-card suit. Here I've only actually got 2 honours, so ace, queen. Many players will make a bid here, and there are some other factors that we haven't talked to you about yet to do with the scoring and tactics that might influence whether West does overcall here. But I think on balance it's probably better to be restrained here and probably not to overcall the diamond suit with a 2 diamond bid here. So in my view, the correct bid here would be to pass. With a slightly better hand, maybe another diamond honour, I'd certainly consider bidding 2 diamonds. If I had another diamond, if I had a 6 diamonds, certainly would do that. Or maybe even if I even had a couple more high card points somewhere else in the hand, I might also find a bid here. But at the moment, I think the right bid is just to pass and not to bid that diamond suit. It's just not quite good enough. So pass is the right bid there. To wrap this up with some key points about overcalls. Let's remember, firstly, suit overcalls promise a good suit. They're not necessarily promising playing strength. They're not even promising a hand that would be good enough to open the bidding, but they are showing a good suit, which must be a minimum of 5 cards in that suit and 2 honours. What goes with that is, if we end up defending, always look to lead a suit that partner has overcalled. If partner's overcalled a suit in an auction, it means they've got a good suit, and it's very, very likely that it's the right suit for you to lead at any point during the defence. So it's well worth remembering that partner's made an overcall, and always look to make that as a lead if you can. Remember also that when supporting an overcall, you only need 3 cards in the suit to raise your partner's overcall. Partner has 5, so therefore only 3 cards are needed, because you will have a magic 5-3, which is an 8-card fit guaranteed. So you can support with just 3 cards, and it's often good to be quite ambitious when supporting. So although we've given you some high card point ranges, actually, if you've got extra points in that suit, it's often best just to be ambitious and raise partner, even if you haven't got quite the right amount of points for the guidelines we've given you. It's more important to have a number of cards in support rather than an actual number of high card points. And lastly, just be a little bit cautious if you have to make your overcall at the 2 level. Okay, bids at the 2 level, you need to have a better hand and suit so than if you were overcalling at the 1 level. And we went into why that is and gave you examples. But just remember, just be cautious with making your overcalls at the 2 level. Often it's ill-judged to bid an overcall at the 2 level, and it might just be better to pass and let the opponents bid. That's all there is to overcalls. Well, it's not all there is to overcalls. There's actually a lot more to overcalls, of course, but that's all there is to this lesson on overcalls. Hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if you've got any questions.